Hey guys, what is up? Nisho691 here for Total Gaming Daily. Today I'm going to run you through Faction Fundamentals Part 5, which is Allies and Enemies. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to bring up my faction. Right now we have, what do we got? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 allies and no enemies. Right now, as far as enemies goes, like I said in my last video, this is a very calm server. Very easygoing, not a lot of raiding, not a lot of violence or aggression. So, you know, right now we don't have any enemies. But I only have 4 allies. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and actually express to you guys the importance of allies and enemies. Now, there are 2 types of faction plugins that I have seen in my life. And that is the part 1, where allies can edit your territory, and the plugin where allies cannot edit your territory. Now, in the case of allies being allowed to edit your territory, I personally would recommend that you do not ally anyone at all under any circumstance unless you know them in real life and you know that they're not going to screw you over. As far as allies being allowed to edit your territory, it's a very slippery slope. You know, even if everyone in your friend's faction or whatever is really cool, even if they're a really great person, it only takes one person. You know, he adds a new guy. He thinks he's a good person. And heck, for all you know, you both could get raided, even if your bases are relatively close. And heck, even if they're not, I'm sure through enough efforts, everybody can find you rather easily. Now, in the case of allies not being able to edit your territory, which is my personally preferred way of running a faction plugin, because I think it's a lot safer, it lets you become more friendly. It's less hostile, it's less apprehensive, I think. So basically, in the situation where allies cannot edit your territory, then you can feel free to ally anyone you want, personally. In this situation, excuse me, I personally do not prefer to ally people that I do not feel okay with backing up. Say there was a faction war, or say there was some situation where one faction was pissed off at another faction. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So you need to, personally, this is just what I do. I only back up people who I feel I would be able to, you know, like your friends, back up, take sides, you know, help them win an argument, basically. We have group 935, which helped me out a little bit. He gave me my looting 3 or my looting 2 sword or something like that. And Plague has got my buddy Zood. We like to go on little raids together. Dragon's Den, I originally created. I know everybody in it, so it's, you know, it's clear. And Frostbite was the faction that I was in just before I created my own. And actually, let's go ahead and ally our buddy Sam, who was in the last video. Oh, of course. Of course. 50 strongs. There we go. We're informed that you wish to be an allied faction. So now he knows that we want to be his ally. And I'm sure he'll ally me once he, you know, figures out what's going on. So basically, the story goes, one thing you need to be very aware of is that this faction ally situation is easily edited on both sides. If I want to kill you, you're kind of, you know, pissing me off, and you think we're just hunky-dory, I can instantly type, you know, F enemy, so-and-so faction, and kill you. It's very easily done. It's very quickly reversed. I personally have done it in certain situations. If I'm in someone else's territory, I want to go ahead and, you know, take their stuff, but they're still my friend, or they're my ally. I go ahead and unally them, take their things, and ally them again. That way they don't know it's me. It's a little underhanded, and, you know, exactly why you need to keep your allies close and your enemies closer. Well, I guess your allies would be closer in this situation, because you never know who's going to screw you over. So that's about my bit for allies and enemies. I would suggest personally never enemying anyone that you absolutely do not have to enemy. It can come at a huge cost later on. Let's just say you're in their territory, and a lot of faction plugins will not allow you to go anywhere. I know this particular faction plugin will not actually let you go anywhere from an enemy territory. You can't go to spawn. You can't go anywhere. In the case of my last faction, I was ready to leave anyway, so I just ended up leaving the faction when I was wedged in some tiny little hole in my enemy's base. So yeah, be careful who you ally, and even be careful who you enemy, because it could come back to haunt you. Moral of the story, I guess I could say. That's about it for allies and enemies. Good. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you guys have any questions about anything I've done so far, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I will definitely address you as soon as I possibly can. And as always, Nisho691 here for Total Gaming Daily. Have a good one.